So another WrestleMania is in the books. WrestleMania 38 last night, New Orleans, Louisiana. I had a couple of friends who were lucky enough to be there, but I was watching it at the Discovery Wrestling WrestleMania viewing party at the Students' Union in Dundee University, or University of Dundee. It was a great event. Thanks to all the guys involved there. They announced that their first event will be October the 4th. It will be filmed for possible future transmission on TV, and will be actually having a special guest, a guy I wanted to meet for several years, Colt Cabana. Amazing. I've just ordered his new DVD, listened to his podcast. Whole load of world news as well breaking today, and I'll speak about that more later in the week. But I'm not going to go through the WrestleMania move, hold for hold, and everything. I'll just give my reactions to these matches because there's a lot of matches, 8 matches in total at WrestleMania, including the kickoff show. Really a good show overall. But the WrestleMania, the kickoff show, Fatal 4-Way Tag Team Elimination match for the WWE Tag Team Championship. This was originally supposed to be just a Fatal 4-Way match. First team that gets the decision wins. It eventually turned out to be an elimination match. When the first fall happened, I thought I think it was Ray Baxter possibly won the tag titles, but turned out it was an elimination. Los Matadors, Dores were eliminated, Rybaxo were eliminated. It came down to the Usos and the Real Americans. This was genuinely a really good match, and I believe a match that we may look back on in the future to say, yes, that was certainly at least one of the launch pads of Cesaro, because he put an excellent performance. I'll talk more about him later on in a couple of minutes about that, but this was really a genuinely good match, a really good tag team match. It lasted just 16 minutes, but it was a really good match, a good warm-up for the crowd. The Usos eventually defeating the Real Americans to retain the tag titles. I would have loved to have seen the Usos take these tag titles a couple of weeks ago on Raw. I said that already. But I thought, maybe WWE looking at further on the card what they wanted to do. Maybe it'd be a bit too much, or maybe they just needed the New Age Outlaws for the other match that they were in. But overall, a really good tag team wrestling match. Usos retained titles to much applause from the crowd, it seems, at New Orleans. First match of WrestleMania pay-per-view was Daniel Bryan versus Triple H. Now, I have to say, I really enjoyed the Triple H entrance. It was him on his throne, like he did a few years ago, with kind of a Viking kind of gimmick. He had guys there, and he had like the front of a boat as well. One of the most iconic images I think we will take away from WrestleMania is Triple H standing there with his kind of crown, the face mask thing in his hands, when he has it like that, and he's just standing there looking out. That is an absolute iconic image. He just has it in his hand like that, and he's standing, he's really staring at the ring. Like that is going to be one of the most iconic images taking away from WrestleMania 30. Absolutely great image it was. We all know the career of Triple H. It was fantastic. I thought a number of theories for this match for WrestleMania. Could they end up being a 4-way? Could this match between Daniel Bryan and Triple H turn out to be a no contest, and each of them put themselves into the main event? Or could Triple H put himself into the main event even if he loses? Or could Daniel Bryan do the same? But in the end, Daniel Bryan, and I think it was the right decision, defeated Triple H eventually in a great match. It went a lot longer than I thought it would be. I thought that this match would only last perhaps 9-10 minutes, and again, it was all up in the air. We didn't know where this match would happen on the card. I can't remember, but I was thinking, could it be like ECW Barely Legal Night 7? Terry Funk defeated Stevie Richards and the Sandman in triple threat, and then immediately went into the world title match with Raven. I thought, could they do something similar? Would Daniel Bryan have to go immediately into the triple threat match? But no, of course, we saw it was the very first match on the card, and Daniel Bryan, after an excellent match. Triple H is, I mean, I've never been the biggest fan of Triple H. I admire his skill. He is so skilled in the ring. He is a future Hall of Famer, a multiple-time world champion because of how great he is. He and Daniel Bryan had an excellent match, and Daniel Bryan took the win, rightly so. The crowd were really into this. I thought this was actually a great way actually to start the event. A good way to start the event, keep fans' interest. They were there to see Daniel Bryan. That was obvious. Lots of yes signs in the crowd. They may have been handed them when they entered the arena, it looks like, because they're all the same. If you saw it hard on camera, you see it. A lot of yes banners, well, wee tiny signs like they're printed out cheaply, but there were loads and loads of them. Too many to actually everybody printed off themselves, I think. But it was the right decision. Daniel Bryan getting the win over Triple H. Triple H obviously pedigreed Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan kicked out, and Triple H eventually fell to the knees of Daniel Bryan. And to be honest, I was a bit disappointed, but expected nothing less that Triple H beat up Daniel Bryan after this match. But certainly a great match. 25, nearly just under 26 minutes to kick off WrestleMania 30. As I said, a match I thought go 8 or 9 minutes. It went far longer than that, and they put on really one of the matches of the night. Next up was a really short match, just 3 minutes. The Shield, Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns defeating Kane and the New Age Outlaws, Road Dogg and Billy Gunn. Though I was hoping this would be, I never did get a chance to do the predictor. By the time I actually realised I hadn't done the predictor at the Discovery Wrestling thing, it was already underway. I thought it was too late. The tag match had already been but the New Age Outlaws and Kane were defeated very quickly. I thought this was an excellent match to show the Shield, keep the Shield together for a while. Very dominant performance. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I have been very impressed with the Shield since their debut at Survivor Series 2012. They have done excellent. These three guys are so talented, and they're really popular. Really good futures in WWE. A really good match. Third match was the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal match. Now, the participants were Alberto Del Rio, Big E, Brad Maddox, Brodus Clay, Cody Rhodes, Damien Sandow, Darren Young, David Otunga, Dolph Ziggler, Fandango, Drew McIntyre. Good to see a Scotsman at WrestleMania. Goldust, great to see him at WrestleMania as well, I have to say. Big fan of his for many years. The Great Khali, Heath Slater, Jinder Mahal, Justin Gabriel, Kofi Kingston, Mark Henry, The Miz, Rey Mysterio, Sheamus, R-Truth, Santino Marella, Sin Cara, Titus O'Neil, Tyson Kidd, Xavier Woods, Yoshitatsu and Zack Ryder. Now this was a battle royal. Everybody, as I told my friend Sean, everybody starts inside the ring, inside the squared circle for a battle royal. It was a really good battle royal, very quick battle royal. Obviously, it went a little bit longer, just under 13 minutes. It was real good, some real good performances. It was obviously very difficult to see some of the guys. A lot of them got thrown out, very quickly. A great bit with firstly Fandango. He ended up, I think he eliminated somebody, and he ended up dancing on the apron. And the whole crowd was doing the fandangoing. Obviously, it was a bit difficult to hear the sound where we were, but because of people cheering and different bits of the battle royal at that point, it was a bit difficult to hear because we're cheering a couple of the elimination chamber. I have to say it was a great atmosphere, absolutely brilliant atmosphere there. The Discovery Wrestling and Students' Union Dundee, it really was. But that was absolutely fantastic. One of the moments of WrestleMania. Now this was astounding, truly astounding. Kofi Kingston's escape. I cannot honestly remember. I only watched WrestleMania once. I haven't ordered it. I don't have the money to order it, unfortunately, just now to rewatch it. But Kofi Kingston was ran into somebody, and he was supposed to be obviously flipped over so that he went over the corner onto where the steps are, and it looked like he was supposed to land on the steps, perhaps standing, or doing a fake fall over where he hits the ground line, does like a press up, so both his hands are on the floor, so he can push himself back up and continue the match. This almost went wrong. This really, really almost went wrong. If you haven't seen the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, watch it again if you can, because Kofi Kingston's escape almost went wrong. He was flipped over the corner. He fell to the floor, and he was extremely lucky that his feet ended up still barely, and I mean barely, on the bottom step of the stairs. Absolutely really lucky that that didn't cost him. He was obviously supposed to do, as he does at the Royal Rumble, this escape spot. He always escapes where he uses JBL's or Michael Cole's chair and pogo sticks back into the ring, or whether he lands on the barrier and runs around the barrier and does a really long, does a bit of a run and leap and back on to the apron of the ring and climbs back in, and he escapes elimination that way. He was really, really lucky that he actually landed just with his feet. It was actually, he really actually landed with his feet off the stairs in midair. If he had actually had his feet touch the ground, because the camera was right on him. It was a great shot. One of the cameramen still annoys me when he goes up, and down. I know they're reacting to what they see, but one of the cameramen he really is getting annoying to me a bit. But you watch, he kind of juggles all about and everything. It's annoying, but Kofi Kingston was lucky because the cameras followed him in great direction from the director from this. He flipped over and then he flipped. The director went to the other camera, and Kofi Kingston landed with the right back flap on the mats outside the ring. His feet were like literally in the mid-air, and he was able to move his feet. So his feet were like up in the air, and he was able to move them to have them sit on the bottom step of the steps. It really is an amazing moment. Go and watch it if you can. It was absolutely amazing. Just managed to be able to continue his escape, and Cesaro won the Battle Royal, which was a great surprise. He ended up facing down the other last participant, the Big Show. Now, Big Show was a huge favourite to win this. A lot of people tipped the Big Show because it was Andre the Giant Memorial. Of course, the Big Show was at one point, right at the start in WCW, billed as the son of Andre, which is not true, of course, but kind of a tribute to him. He was labelled as and said to be the son of Andre, and Cesaro put on a great performance, eliminating the Big Show. Like I said, this may be a WrestleMania we look back in future years, and this was one of the launch pads of Cesaro as a main eventer in WWE. Next up, I know this is going to be this WrestleMania, John Cena versus Bray Wyatt. Now, I have to say, this was a really good match. This really was. Bray Wyatt played his role absolutely perfectly. He really got under the skin of John Cena, but I have to say, I really liked Bray Wyatt's entrance. He had the group there singing his entrance song. Really good. The guys with the masks and that, very Clockwork Orange. If you've never seen that film, check it out. If you're not 18 plus, I think it is. I think it's an 18 plus, an adult rating. Anyway, you're better off being an adult actually if you're going to watch that film. It's not for kids certainly, but very Clockwork Orange, very dark, very red and voodoo-ish, and I can't remember what the name of the film is that supposedly inspired Dusty Rhodes in this character, because it was Dusty Rhodes that really kind of worked with Bray to create this kind of character. But it really was a fantastic voodoo-ish, red lighting and great band singing it, singing Bray's interest. This was a really good match, a really, really good match. It shows the talent, I think, and the potential of Bray Wyatt if they have him working with John Cena in Bray Wyatt's first WrestleMania. Some great action here. John Cena spearing, goring, Luke Harper through the barricade at one point. Bray Wyatt was playing like kind of rope-a-dope, come on, hit me, and I'm putting in a steel chair and telling Cena to hit me with the steel chair, which of course would have been automatic disqualification. Just Bray Wyatt continually going on and on into John Cena. Unfortunately, Cena eventually won this match. I would have liked to have seen it go the other way, to be honest, because it was very quick. I mean, it was a good match, long match again. 23 minutes this lasted. Cena won extremely quickly, very suddenly, with an attitude adjustment. I would like to have seen this. I know, obviously, possibly Cena won because of all the kids watching. You know, they want to appeal to the kids. You know, John Cena's a character for the kids, and I've said it before, I don't like really this John Cena character. He's too heroic to me. He's too much, I win all the time, I overcome the odds every time. You know, it's just, that doesn't really work for me. It may work for a lot of other people, kids and other people, but it doesn't really work for me. I've never said that he's a bad guy because all the stuff he does for charity. John Cena, the man behind the character, is a really good guy from what I've heard, but I would like to see Bray Wyatt take this victory. That would have really cemented Bray Wyatt as a true superstar. And it was a bit annoying the way that Cena seemed to deal with Luke Harper and Eric Rowan a couple of times. He took them out, including a spectacular dive. Bray Wyatt was down, well, slightly getting up. John Cena climbed to the top turnbuckle. We thought, here comes the traditional vintage Cena leg drop, but no, he turned himself and did an amazing dive onto Luke Harper and Eric Rowan. It was a really spectacular dive. It really was one that even I think Ricky Steamboat would have been proud of in terms of that dive. He did it actually really well for a guy that doesn't normally do dives. He extended himself well. He extended his arms. He measured it perfectly. He landed right on their chest. They were able to base him, to catch him really in a really good position, and it was absolutely good match. As I said, I would like to have seen Cena take this victory away, to have Bray Wyatt to win. Actually, to have John Cena to almost take the victory, because he did get hit with Sister Abigail a couple of times and a couple of attempts, kicked out. But like I said, it was a bit too heroic, John Cena, for my liking. We'll have to wait and see on Raw tonight to see whether this feud continues, of course. But it was a really good match. Now, the next match, Brock Lesnar versus The Undertaker. Streak versus The Beast. This match, what can I say about this match? Well, you know, something I never thought I would see happen was the streak ending. This match started off, and for the whole 25 and a half minutes was really what I expected it to be. It was almost like a UFC match, a lot of striking, submission wrestling, also a bit of tough man, you know, battling out, you know, brawling. It was a really good match, and to be honest, Undertaker has studied mixed martial arts. He had Brock Lesnar had him in the Kimura lock. Undertaker reversed it to his own Kimura lock. They both had some submissions on each other. It was actually, you know, exactly the match that I was hoping it would be. Them two guys trying to wrestle and trying to strike and submit each other, and that's exactly what they did for the whole of this event. But in the end, Brock Lesnar hit 3 F5s on the Undertaker, and Undertaker's streak was broken. I mean, we at the viewing party, everybody was just total atmosphere of unbelievable just shock, just horror. A few chants of "this is BS" and the full words, and a few other swear words, and a lot of people not happy about this, including myself. I was not happy with this. I mean, the Undertaker to lose his streak to somebody like Brock. Now, we'd heard the rumours that Undertaker had chosen Brock to lose this streak to a few years ago when Brock was deciding whether to come back or stay with the UFC, and he eventually did win the UFC title. And it was an amazing atmosphere to sit there. At first we were not sure. The way it happened when Brock Lesnar gave the Undertaker the F5, there was just that, I've watched it back on a little bit, the clip of it on YouTube, because somebody put it up as them filming their TV. I'm not going to put a link to it, but it'll probably get put down by WWE eventually. But looking at it, it seems a lot longer than when you're watching it the first time. If there's any dramatic pause, like if it's a shock result, it always seems a lot longer than it is. It's just that like time freezes, and that was exactly what it was last night. So it wasn't actually as long as it seemed to be last night, but certainly there was those few moments where we thought, was this meant? Did Brock Lesnar really? Was Brock Lesnar really supposed to beat the Undertaker? Was the streak really meant to end last night the way it did? We were all in shock. Like I said, there was a lot of chants. This is BS. This is bull. This is bleep. It was really horrifying. I mean, the whole barrier. Like I said, the whole club thing. There was a couple of different areas where a lot of TVs around. It was really good. Different units had different unit kind of by different table set places. Each had their own TV, and there was a couple of big TVs in the bar area. Everybody was absolutely shocked at this result, and I was too. I never thought. I mean, and I'm saying this honestly. I am saying this genuinely, 100% truthfully. Cross my heart, hope to die, that rubbish. But I have been a fan of the Undertaker since before he was the Undertaker. Since he got his big break in WCW when he came in for Sid Vicious as part of the Skyscrapers. I thought this guy's got potential, and he eventually left WCW. I was a bit upset by that, and went to WWE. Greatest career move of all time. Became the Undertaker. Had this huge streak. 21-1 is now the record. An amazing match. It really was. Like I said, I'm not going to go through blow for blow, even though I'm going on quite a bit. But it is WrestleMania review. My thoughts of it. It really was a great match. I have to say, one of the things I've said also before is the reactions of Paul Heyman. Now, it's very difficult sometimes with Paul Heyman to know whether he's selling, whether he's putting it on, whether he's acting, or whether he really is shocked. I mean, he was like shocked. He was, you'll see the pictures again. This was another iconic image of WrestleMania when he has his head and his hands like, oh my god, what has just happened? You'll see about me. Like, he's got his, but I can't put them. I've got the microphone on my headphones on my hand. He really like that, like, oh my god, you've done it. To Brock Lesnar, you heard him at one point. Oh my god, you've done it. Brock Lesnar was kind of a bit shocked as well. Like I said, we were not sure whether this seemed to be actually meant at that first few moments, first couple of minutes, till that announcement came, the winner of the match, Brock Lesnar, and the picture, the graphic came up, 21-1. Unbelievable. That was something I never expected. If I had managed to do the predictor, I would not have actually said for the Undertaker to lose. Like I said, been a long time fan of the Undertaker. He's only missed 2 WrestleManias since he started WrestleMania 7. At WrestleMania 10 he missed because that was 94 when he was put in the casket of the Royal Rumble, and then he didn't come back till SummerSlam. That was when the Undertaker versus Underfaker happened, and WrestleMania 2000 where he had the injury and he came back at Judgment Day a couple of months later as the American Badass. So this was a shock, a huge shock. Undertaker's streak is over. You can't tell. I've hardly had any sleep since last night. Only a couple of hours of sleep. It's just an absolute shock. One thing we never thought we'd see at WrestleMania. Now, I said last night after that match, Will we now see? I mean, there's a lot of rumours. Of course, Undertaker said before, if he loses at WrestleMania, that's it. He will retire. Is that the end of the Undertaker? Or like I said last night, will we now see Undertaker versus Sting? Because there's always been that thing of whoever Undertaker faces at WrestleMania will lose. And, we all thought, like Randy Orton, Mark Henry, The Big Show, A-Train, and Ric Flair, and all these guys that have faced Undertaker, we thought, automatically, we'll enjoy the match, but they'll lose. It'll be a good match, it'll be a good event, but we'll lose. The only real threat in the last few years, well, we thought, was Shawn Michaels. Both 1 and 2, we all honestly thought that Shawn Michaels was one person capable of taking the streak away from The Undertaker. So will we now see Sting versus The Undertaker? Sting has said he wants The Undertaker in their final retirement match, before Sting hangs up the boots for the very last time. Will we see that? Will Sting now come in, perhaps tonight on Raw, tonight in the future, or will it be this? Is it for The Undertaker? Is The Undertaker walking away completely from pro wrestling, from WWE? We don't know. We'll have to wait and see tonight on Raw. I'm looking forward to seeing tonight on Raw what happens. It's going to be a good show, but certainly the hashtag was there, and it's thank you Undertaker for certain. Hashtag thank you Taker. It's a real pity he's not on social media, but obviously we got millions of messages. I'm sure his wife is, Michelle McCool. She's getting loads of messages, I'm sure. Truly shocking. Brock Lesnar defeats and ends the streak. Amazing, just amazing. Next up was the Vicky Guerrero Divas Invitational match. Now this was apparently named after Vicky Guerrero because it seemingly she has left. Well, it seems she's leaving WWE. I know she's been away a lot, doing a lot of different studies, passing her exams, and congratulations to her. I know the family's very proud of her. I met Chavo Jr. in 2012, and he was saying he was extremely proud of her then for what she was doing and how she'd handle herself, and everything she was contributing to wrestling at that point. And this is 2 years on. She's definitely seems to be stepping away from WWE, so that's why it was the Vicky Guerrero Invitational, and I wish Vicky Guerrero nothing but good luck. There was a 14 Divas single fall match for the Divas title. It lasted just 6 minutes, about 48 seconds. AJ Lee won it after supposedly making Naomi submit, but the truth of the matter was, and unfortunately Vicky Guerrero didn't see it. If she did, she didn't do anything about it. But AJ Lee actually had the hand of Naomi, and what it looked like to me, because I've only seen WrestleMania once, but it certainly seemed to me that AJ Lee had the hand of Naomi, and she was making her tap out. She was absolutely making her tap out. Naomi was being made to tap out by AJ Lee to retain the Divas title. That brings us to the main event, the triple threat match for the WWE World title. Now this match, absolutely amazing match. This was a really good match. Now, I don't think people are going to give Randy Orton and Batista credit. I have to say, I was actually really impressed with these guys' performance on this match. They carried the match. A lot of the match, they carried it. Daniel Bryan still suffering supposedly from the shoulder injury that he suffered a few weeks ago on Raw. We did see actually at one point him in the trainer's room after the first match, being treated and being attended to by the physio, by the doctor, and he was still bandaged up again because in the main event. And actually Batista and Randy Orton really did carry the match, because a lot of it was certainly for some portion, a few minutes, it seemed every time Daniel Bryan would get hurt or be thrown out of the ring, and Batista and Randy Orton would go at it. So they're not going to get the credit probably that they deserve, but I'm seeing it right now. Randy Orton and Batista, I think, put on two great performances last night. I thought it was a bit disrespectful that they put them two wrestling each other last Monday on Raw, the last Raw before WrestleMania. I thought that was a bit stupid, even though I know it's going to be triple threat and added one person. But Daniel Bryan certainly showed a lot of great wrestling skill in this matchup. I really liked the promo video that they did about Daniel Bryan, showing him from his younger days, a couple of independent bits of footage, obviously not from Ring of Honor. I don't think they would ever get really bits from Ring of Honor, but bits from earlier in his career from in America, and showing the evolution of Daniel Bryan. That was shown before the first match with Triple H, but Daniel Bryan really putting some great performances there. Like I said, especially after The Undertaker losing earlier in the night, I certainly was not certainly sure that Daniel Bryan would actually walk away from WrestleMania, the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. If Undertaker can lose at WrestleMania, nothing is certain. Absolutely nothing on the WrestleMania card from then was certain. No guarantee. I said to my brother, I said to people, perhaps we will see Batista walking away with the title. Perhaps Randy Orton will keep the title. We did not know. Like I said, perhaps earlier on, perhaps we will see Triple H actually put himself in this match anyway, even if he lost. Triple H did interfere in this match. He and Stephanie came out through the crowd, tried to attack Daniel Bryan. In fact, one point, you'll see it on WrestleMania, he had the sledgehammer, and he tried to attack Daniel Bryan with it. Daniel Bryan stopped him. Daniel Bryan actually grabbed the sledgehammer and whacked Triple H in the head with it, which caused Triple H to fall off the ring apron where he was, and both he and Stephanie McMahon were actually taken away by security and trainers and doctors after, I think it was perhaps but was it Batista or Randy Orton? I can't quite remember who it was. It was only so watch. But Daniel Bryan did a dive through the ropes onto all three of them. I don't know. It was actually the referee, Scott Armstrong. Actually, Triple H sent in Scott Armstrong at one point to try and fast count Daniel Bryan down, but Daniel Bryan took care of Scott Armstrong because the original referee had not been knocked down. So much to remember at WrestleMania, and just seen it once, like I said. But Scott Armstrong was sent in by Triple H to try and screw Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan knocked down, hit Scott Armstrong, threw him to the outside. Triple H and Stephanie were gathering Scott Armstrong. They were all kind of standing up, and Daniel Bryan did a dive to the outside on all three of them. It looked like Stephanie McMahon hurt her ankle or leg when she took the dive, because she was really grabbing the leg. I don't know whether she was selling it, whether it was just, I've supposedly hurt my leg, but it looked really, from the way she fell, it looked like she may have actually hurt her leg. We'll have to wait and see tonight. I don't know what they say about that, but it looked like she did certainly take a brunt of the impact. I have to say, that's one thing I've always admired about some of the top people in WWE, like Vince McMahon and Stephanie and Shane. They're not, and certainly of course Triple H nowadays, they've never been afraid to actually step out there and take the bumps, take the risks, right along with the talent. Not as much as the talent, obviously, because they're not wrestlers. Stephanie held the Women's Championship about 14 years ago now, but they've always been there taking their bumps, being there right there to take the physical. It's not as if they're, oh, I'm the owner, so don't touch me. You land before me and I just fall back stupidly or something. No, they've always taken the bumps. They've always taken the really taking the risks, especially Shane and Vince, like WrestleMania 17. Really fantastic. They've always done that. It really is absolutely brilliant that they've always done that. But anyway, Daniel Bryan eventually tapped out to win. Tapped out Well, he tried to actually tap out Randy Orton and tap out Batista. There was Randy Orton, he tapped out to win the match eventually after about 24 minutes, about 23 and a half, 24 minutes. It really was a really good match. It was really good. It was, like I said, it was a really good performance by Batista and Randy Orton as well. There was a great bit that I've left out actually, where the kind of powerbomb neck breakered Daniel Bryan through, I think it was the Spanish announce table. A few times in a couple of matches that it came close to being broken. You know, there's always the thing about the Spanish announce table that it's going to get broken. Sometime during the pay-per-view, it's going to be broken. Like I said to my friends last night, there was one pay-per-view many years ago, and I can't honestly remember what it was, but the Spanish announce table was not broken for the first time in several pay-per-views. That was back in the days when they had the Spanish announce table there for every pay-per-view. It was many years ago, I can't remember what it was, but there was one pay-per-view that after several pay-per-views it actually survived the event, and they actually mentioned it at the end of the pay-per-view. They were like, oh my god, the Spanish announce table, it's still standing, amazing. And this was after, you know, the final main event match had finished. It was many years ago. It was the Attitude Era kind of days. I can't remember when it was, but certainly it was a great moment where Batista powerbombed and Randy Orton, obviously in an attempt to protect Daniel Bryan's neck. Obviously this is what part of why they do these kind of things with two people. But Batista powerbombed him, Batista standing on what, and I think the WWE Cole, JBL and Lawler table powerbombed Daniel Bryan through the Spanish announce table with, at the same time, almost like a reverse 3D Dudley Death Drop flapjack maneuver. Randy Orton kind of did a big jumping neck breaker, almost like an inverted RKO to obviously, like I said, protect Daniel Bryan's neck, and they crashed through the table. It was amazing, and Randy Orton took a big risk, and he ended up getting cut open on his back because Randy Orton actually landed on one of the monitors. One of the monitors was right sitting there because they'd thrown the monitors out, but one of them was sitting right there, and I saw it. Boom! Randy Orton actually landed on the monitor, and it cut his back a little bit. Not too much, thankfully, but it was bleeding quite a decent bit. I have to say, but anyway, Daniel Bryan eventually, there was Randy Orton or Batista got to submit and took the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. It was truly an amazing match. It really was. Like I said, Batista and Randy Orton are not going to get the credit that they deserve for this match. I think they should get a lot of credit for this match. Like I said, it was obviously, you know, selling the Bryan. Daniel Bryan injury. He was out for several minutes at a time, selling the injury, gathering himself up. Obviously, he was exhausted anyway after wrestling 25 minutes in the very first match against Triple H, a great competitor. It was a great match. Obviously, you got to let him time to sell the injury, plus to try and have a little bit of a rest. You know, have them go at it for a bit, then Daniel Bryan comes back into it for a couple of minutes, and then goes out of it for a couple of minutes. That happened a couple of times during the match, but anyway, in the end, Daniel Bryan submitted Randy Orton to actually win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Now, obviously, a lot of people were hoping, and I know many of Daniel Bryan's friends were either at WrestleMania, watching WrestleMania, and they were all saying, you know, they really wanted to get, they wanted to see Daniel Bryan actually to really take that world title in a good way, not in a screwy way, not in a way that, you know, that's very last minute escaping and just manages to win the title, but in a clean way, a good way. And actually, one of them submit was a really good way, clean way. After several attempts, to win the WWE World title. I would have liked to actually see he won it in the yes lock crossface, but I would like actually seen personally to see him use the cattle mutilation. What a moment that would have been for him to bridge over, use the cattle mutilation to win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Though I know apparently officials in WWE do not think very much of the cattle mutilation maneuver. They say it looks a little bit, it's very real. I mean, a lot of people, Japanese wrestlers and other American wrestlers will tell you who've been in the move, it really genuinely does hurt. So there's not much selling, but some WWE officials apparently not liking the cattle mutilation move, so that's why he doesn't use it very much. Why he's moved to this yes lock. But he did it. He won the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Absolute fantastic. As you can see my fan reaction to WrestleMania 30 video that I put up. They were going mental. Absolutely brilliant. I have to say, it really was such a special moment seeing the confetti go off, the pyrotechnics, the cheering, the crowd were going mental. It really will be one of those WrestleMania moments that they will replay again and again and again in the future. Really was absolutely brilliant. What a fantastic moment for Daniel Bryan. Again, he's another one. I've been a long time fan of it since he started with Ring of Honor, and I've seen some of his stuff in Japan as well, with the very early days when he was teaming up with Curryman and the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship reign over there, and all the stuff there. And he truly has become such a huge star. He's always had that connection with the fans. He always has had that. Just that special bond between him and the fans. I mean, I was watching a while ago, Pro Wrestling known as European Navigation 2008. He comes in, he's involved in the Junior Heavyweight Tag Team title match there, and everybody's cheering there and chatting along with his music, although he cuts them off in a great heel move. He says only Americans deserve to hear the final countdown. Really good. He's always had that special connection to the fans, and I know a lot of people are really happy for his success. Gabe Sapolsky, Nigel McGuinness, all wishing him well, and of course Daniel Bryan on Twitter last night just saying 2 words I want to say is just thank you. It really is fantastic to see Daniel Bryan really rising to the top, and I've said before, he's been WWE World Champion, he's been WWE Champion. Maybe that kind of takes away a little bit from this, but to be honest, not a lot, not very much at all really. It does take a little bit, because we saw WrestleMania a couple of years ago, him being defeated by Sheamus in 18 seconds or so for the title, but certainly the reign of Daniel Bryan has started, and it was just a moment, and another iconic image where all the confetti is coming off, and he is actually holding those titles aloft. Absolutely unbelievable. Overall, a really good WrestleMania. It's already actually available for pre-sale at www.dvd.co.uk. Blu-ray's about £22, or maybe order it in a few weeks. So just bought a couple of DVDs there that I needed to get. Maybe order in a few weeks when I've got some more money. But absolutely fantastic show. Look forward to seeing it again sometime. Probably we'll have to wait till the DVD. But thanks well, once again to Discovery Wrestling for putting on that event last night. Really enjoyed myself. I just thought it was a fantastic setup, fantastic experience. Great to see your first event also being held on October 4th with Colt Cabana. I'm sure it's going to be in the Dundee area venue to be announced again. I'll certainly be there because Colt Cabana is one of the guys I want to see. And also, plugging better some final plugs. Hell for Lycran 11 is happening on August 30th for Scottish Wrestling Entertainment, a different company. They are featuring Terry Funk, WWE Hall of Famer, and more guests to be announced in the coming weeks. Their next event, 18th of April at Curtin, then I think it's 25th in Venus Hill, and the 26th of April, then at back at Arthur for their next Uprising event, which is going to be great. So many plugs there. As I said, a lot of World Wrestling news going on today as well. That I'm going to have to catch up on because there's a heck of a lot and some really unbelievable news. What a weekend this has been for wrestling. Some really unbelievable wrestling news has been happening in the last few hours, which I'll discuss later in the week. Absolutely unbelievable. Maybe tomorrow or Wednesday or so if I get a chance. Unbelievable WrestleMania in the end. Truly spectacular. Just an amazing one. Hosted by Hulk Hogan. I never even mentioned at the start they had Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold, and The Rock in the ring at the one time. I kind of missed that a little bit because we were switching the displays on for to put on WrestleMania, so we missed that a couple of minutes of that, including apparently Hogan messed up his speech a little bit, so I'll have to hopefully watch that some point. But overall, a good WrestleMania, really good event. I'm still interested in seeing what the comments about from wrestling fans all around the world is about WrestleMania. But the one thing we will certainly take away from WrestleMania, not just Daniel Bryan, the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion, but the streak is, just like The Undertaker, dead.